Now you write the composition of forex in IMF basket. Composition of forex in IMF basket. So how many currencies we have in IMF basket? Tell me. Hard currencies like US dollar, these are the 5 currencies in the IMF basket. Latest inclusion is of renminbi, currency of China. UPSC is very smart. They asked in 2016 preliminary, which is the latest currency included in IMF basket? And everywhere, every newspaper, etc., they were reporting yuan, yuan, yuan. And in options, when students were about to do the question, there was not a single term related to yuan. All terms, renminbi, another South African currency, and rand, that's a South African currency. Then other name from R also, they picked 4 names, same as renminbi. Students were confused that which is the new currency. So they've included yuan. So be careful. They can now ask, I'll not say the question will repeat, they can ask about chronology. Chronology regarding, this is not a random, there must be some a weightage given to that particular currency. So we'll write weightage. 41.7% is the weightage of US dollar in IMF basket. Obviously this comes out as 100%. So among 100%, 41.7% belongs to US dollar. Then the second most important currency is Euro, 30.9. Then we have yuan, renminbi, that is 10.9. Yen and pound 8.3 and 8.1. This will come out as 100. Do not remember the figures because this is my job, not yours. Just remember the chronology. It is very easy to remember. I'll explain how. When you are traveling USA, suppose for example Washington DC to Tokyo, first will come US dollar, second will come European Union, third will come China, and then Japan, and the old horse will be at last. Showstopper, you can understand. So Britain comes at last. This is how you can remember. It depends on you. So this is how I remember. That's the main thing. So you can use like this. You get the idea? याद भी कराई दिया मैंने आपको. ठीक है. Shall we move on? Very important topic. It will take half an hour. Currency convertibility. Currency convertibility. What is the meaning of currency convertibility? Now I'm expecting answer from your side. If a currency is convertible, it means simple, converting rupee into dollar or converting any foreign currency into other foreign currency. So this is the meaning of currency convertibility. It means your currency is very easy to convert. When you say that your currency is easy to convert, it means your valuation, conversion of rupee to dollar is easy. But it takes some amount, it means it takes some cost, 72 rupees a dollar. So this is the conversion rate. But now currency convertibility is an advanced topic. It means currency convertibility on two accounts. So we have seen the two accounts of balance of payment. So currency is convertible on current account and on capital account. Getting my point? So there are two types of convertibility. Current account and capital account. Your currency is convertible. Now there are different types of convertibility. Generally two types: full convertibility and partial convertibility. Here full convertibility means if you will take suppose 10 lakh rupees and will convert into dollar, that is full convertibility. If there is any restriction on convertibility of rupee to dollar, that is what we call partial convertibility. Like for example, if you open a saving bank account, there is a limit of withdrawal, per day withdrawal, around 40,000, somewhere in 25,000, depends on a particular bank. So there is a restriction on the withdrawal of amount from saving bank. On the same lines, there is a difficulty to convert your currency on current account and capital account. So after the economic reforms, RBI introduced current account convertibility in 1991, that is only on partial basis, but in 1994, RBI allowed full current account convertibility. So it means all the items included in the current account, there will be no restriction in converting rupee to dollar or dollar to rupee. So what are the items comes under current account? Mainly export and imports of goods as well as services. Broad heads are like this. So in order to import whatever you want, you can convert your rupee into dollar in order to pay for that import. There will be no restriction. So if you want to buy a luxury car, there will be no restriction from RBI side. So you can convert n number of rupee into dollar. That's the meaning of full current account convertibility. If we talk about capital account convertibility, this is a risky venture. If you allow full capital account convertibility, it will be very easy for foreign institutional investor so that they can withdraw money. Getting my point? They can withdraw money n number of times and with no limit. So in the last 2 days, I was continuously saying, if 25% of FII withdraws money from Indian stock market at one go, India will not able to pay that amount of dollar. That is why in India, there is a concept of partial capital account convertibility. So we have not introduced any full capital account convertibility, but we are having full current account convertibility. In capital account, suppose for example, FDI, if you allow conversion, there will be very easy to wind up the business in India and they will take all the capital outside India. this will never be desirable for developing countries like India, because we are a net importer and we want dollars. We want technology for development. We want foreign capital for the developmental process. So there was one committee, S.S. Tarapur Committee in 1997, recommended that India should introduce full capital account convertibility. Due to Asian financial crisis in 1997, because of East Asian countries adopted full capital account convertibility in 1990s. You remember the discussion of East Asian miracle? When Eastern Asian countries grew at a higher pace, double digit. South Korea, Hong Kong, Singapore. Remember this? So these countries were growing at a higher pace. They have introduced capital account convertibility in order to receive more and more inflow. But what happened in 1997? Started with Thai baht. Thai baht depreciates and there will be a reverse mechanism. It means all the East Asian countries experiences outflow of foreign currency. Due to that hot money concept, fly by night, they were unable to restrict the outflow of that capital because of full capital account convertibility. So S.S. Tarapur Committee recommended in 1997 that India should introduce full capital account convertibility. But what happened? After the Asian financial crisis, RBI rejected the recommendation. So still we are having partial capital account convertibility because we have to introduce partial. Otherwise it is very difficult or it is impossible to invest in Indian stock market. But we have full capital account convertibility. If the statement comes like this, that India is having full current account convertibility and there will be no convertibility on capital account, the statement will be correct. Why? Because partial convertibility means no convertibility. Getting my point? In partial convertibility, if the statement comes that is India following convertibility of rupee on capital account, the answer will be no. Because partial means nothing. There will be no or full. Partial is just a sense to understand the concept. Getting my point? Newspapers are reporting, everyone is reporting that India is having partial capital account convertibility. But if they will ask that India is having convertibility of currency on capital account or on current account, so you will tick only current account. Partial means if this is full, then it is convertible. But if this is partial, means no convertibility. Getting my point? This is the fact given by Reserve Bank of India. I am not saying. This is RBI words. So if India is having convertibility that is fully on current account, and they will ask what about capital convertibility? Don't. But if they will ask specifically that India is having partial capital account convertibility, then you have to say yes. But if they are not mentioning the word partially, then it is no. Okay? Any doubt regarding this? So we'll write. But there is some restrictions. There are some restrictions. So the withdrawal can be slowed down, can be controlled by RBI. So we can rule out the concept of fly by night, the concept of. No, because if we talk about currency, RBI comes into the picture. If we talk about regulation of stock market, policies regarding regulation of stock market, we have discussed the functions of SEBI. There was no function related to exchange rate. इसलिए वो लिखाना जरूरी था. Two important functions: regulation of stock market and second one, protecting the investors' interests. These are the two important. So there is no role of SEBI in controlling the exchange rate. So right. Currency convertibility refers to the exchange of domestic currency refers to the exchange of domestic currency with foreign currency. With foreign currency. Full stop. A currency can be convertible. A currency can be convertible on both. A currency can be convertible on both current account and capital account. Current account and capital account. A currency can be convertible on both current account and capital account. So you know what are the items under capital and current account because we had discussed. So you can refer to that flow chart. Okay. Next line. India introduced partial current account convertibility. Partial current account convertibility just after the adoption of economic reforms. Just after the adoption of economic reforms. And converted into full current account convertibility. And converted into full current account convertibility. Full current account convertibility in 1994. In 1994, on the recommendations given by S.S. Tarapore Committee. S.S. Tarapore Committee. So now this fact is clear. India is having full current account convertibility. First of next paragraph. In 1997, Government of India again established Tarapore Committee. Again established Tarapore Committee to look into the matters and the prospects of capital account convertibility. Full stop. This committee recommended that India should adopt. This committee recommended that India should adopt full capital account convertibility. Full capital account convertibility. Full stop. Full stop. Next point. Due to Asian financial crisis, Reserve Bank of India rejected the recommendation of due to Asian financial crisis, Reserve Bank of India or RBI rejected the recommendation of full capital account convertibility. Full capital account convertibility. Full stop. For a developing country like India, it is never desirable that there will be full capital account convertibility. Full stop. Because it is acceptable huge inflow of capital. Because it is acceptable huge inflow of capital but at the time of outflow, it is very, very difficult for developing countries. It is very, very difficult for developing countries to absorb huge amount of outflow of dollars. Huge amount of outflow of dollars. Any doubt? So we'll write what are the positives and negatives of full capital account convertibility, because there may be a possibility of mains question. Because if we introduce full capital account convertibility, we'll receive huge FDI, huge FII. Maybe the figure may be double from $60 billion to 120, 100. But when the outflow comes, obviously it is very difficult to take control of that. Getting me? So you write positive impact and negative. First you will write positive impact of capital account convertibility. Because if Tarapur committee recommended, it must be on some grounds. Getting me? Without any grounds, it is very difficult. First point, for India, it will be helpful in promoting foreign investment. For India, it will be helpful in promoting foreign investment. Second point, it will give boost to NRI deposits. It will give boost to NRI deposits. Next point, it will give or it will enable domestic firms and investors to invest abroad. Next one, it will enable domestic borrowers. It will enable domestic borrowers to access funds from international financial market. International financial market. Next one, last one, very important. It will be helpful in curbing illegal transactions like hawala and money laundering. I'll explain each and every point, so you write negative first. Next is your negative points. First one, it will result in huge flight of capital. It will result in huge flight of capital from India to abroad. Next point, it will reduce the resilience of domestic country. It will reduce the resilience of domestic economy from external shocks or crisis. Last point, it increases Last point, it increases the volatility in the domestic financial market. It increases the volatility in the domestic financial market. It increases the volatility in the domestic financial market. Domestic financial market. Full stop. That's the end of the discussion of this class. Any doubt? Do I need to explain any point? Just read it. All are very simple. We discussed already. Or shall I explain one by one? Yes? Hawala transactions are the illegal transactions. We'll discuss in the module money laundering. Because whenever you will allow the full capital account convertibility, then there is a legal way to convert your money. But whenever you are not allowing the flight of capital from India to abroad, people will prefer illegal transactions. So this is the one of the important factor behind his final recommendation that India should introduce full capital account convertibility. But to counter this number one point, flight of capital, number one negative point, how will you control that? Because when RBI does not have any power to control the flight of capital. And the next 2 points, it will create volatility as well as it will reduce the resilience of a domestic economy.
So if we allow full capital account convertibility, is it possible to impose restrictions like 49% in FDI, 100% in FDI?
These are restrictions of investment. These are not restrictions of currency exchange. We are just thinking about if you want to invest in India, you can bring capital. But if you want to exit from Indian market, you cannot take that capital very easily.
Even if we allow, also we can impose restrictions.
We can impose restrictions on capital account. It is very easy. On the current account, obviously, if you not allow, your trade will be affected. Okay.
So we even domestic borrowers to access funds from international financial market. But then it is also possible right now also.
Because suppose, for example, I am the Indian domestic company, any company ABC, I want to borrow fund from abroad. I can take n number of dollars. RBI will promote. But ultimately, 1 year, 2 year, 5 years down the line, I have to repay that. It means I will demand again dollar. And whenever I demand dollar, India will experience outflow. So we have to restrict that. I'm not saying we have to discourage that. We have to take some control. That if company is borrowing from international financial market, they can borrow, most welcome. But the problem is, there must be some regulation. We cannot left market to work freely. Because whenever there is a condition that market will work freely, example is from dot-com bubble in 2000 USA till subprime crisis, market was working very freely. It was a situation running a scooty at 100 km per hour. Obviously, it will collapse. So if you're not controlling your economy, it will go hayward. So you have to have some control, because controlling capital is very easy for United States of America. But controlling capital for a developing country like India, it's a very, very Herculean task. Getting my point? Two things, depreciation and the interest rate in US affected very, very high, on a very, very high scale to Indian economy. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much. बंद कर